and welcome to week 3 of our upstate/western New York month. My name is Becky. I am the creator, director, everythinger of Monday Munchies, as well as the overarching project called Crossing Borders. I'm also an artist. I have my own website, my own store, and since I'm promoting Rochester small businesses, there's mine. I made these earrings. They're made of resin and real dried flowers. They're very lightweight. I like them a lot. They don't hurt my ears. I don't like heavy earrings. They always hurt my ears. So these ones are nice and light. And this is my little business card here. And then you can also use this to see all of our different links, but they're also here as well. Instagram, Facebook, Etsy, Patreon, the whole shebang. It's all right there. I'm also sporting, my shirt is a super cool freaking design. It's Petit Poutine. They're a food truck in the Rochester, New York area, and they actually just opened a brick and mortar shop too. So I'll have their website as well as my links, both to Cafe Charret, which is my art website, which is my art brand, and also links for Crossing Borders. But also the links for the Petit Poutine if you feel like ordering some of their merch, because they have some really cool designs. Or if you're ever in the Rochester, New York area and want to check them out, you can check out where their brick and mortar store is, as well as where their food truck is at any given time. I think you can look at their schedule online. Don't quote me on that. I know you used to be able to. I haven't looked at their schedule in a while, just because I've gone to the brick and mortar store and like the Lilac Festival. They're at all the major festivals, I'm sure, this summer, because they're pretty popular because they're delicious. So if you don't know what poutine is, it's a very Canadian thing. I think it comes from Canada, and we are 3 hours from Canada, so it trickled its way down here. And it's basically fries, which they hand cut, cheese curds, and they home make their own gravy too. So it's like cheese curds, fries, gravy. And they do a bunch of different vegan recipes. They have a bunch of different twists on it. You can add egg. They do like a pulled pork poutine. They're really great. Check them out, Le Petit Poutine. They're amazing. But we're not making poutine today, and we're not making jewelry today. We are making buffalo sponge candy. I don't think sponge candy originated here in upstate/western New York. I just think this is the Buffalo take on it, and it's very popular in Buffalo. That's where it originated, at least for this region. There are other states that call this seafoam. There are other states also that call it sponge candy. And in Canada, they refer to it as sponge toffee, because the middle part is sort of like a crunchy toffee, and then you coat it in dark chocolat. So I'm pretty excited. I've also never had sponge candy. My brother-in-law loves it apparently. I told my sister I was making it, and she was like, he loves it. So I will be probably giving a big portion to him. I'm sure I'll eat it too, but I don't know. I'm gonna try it on the rest of the family. See if they like it. If they like it, then he'll only get a small amount. But they're picky, so I don't know that they will like it. We will see. So we're gonna move over to the ingredient section as per usual and see what we need for this recipe. I'll see you over there. Oh, this recipe. It comes from our friend Jennifer Morrissey over at homeinthefingerlakes.com. By this point, she's like our BFF. I think the next recipe we have is from her as well, so she was awesome. She made a whole bunch of Finger Lakes and upstate New York recipes, and it was all collected on one website, so it was really easy to follow. I really like the way she writes her recipes. They're easy to follow and easy to understand, so thanks, Jennifer Morrissey. You're great. We'll see you at the counter. Hello again, jet setters. We are at the counter once again. And we have all of your ingredients to make a buffalo version of this sponge candy. So what you're gonna need is a 1/4 teaspoon of gelatin, 1 tablespoon of cold water, a 1/2 cup of water, unspecified, cold, warm, hot, just a 1/2 cup of water, a 1/2 cup of light corn syrup, 1½ cups of white sugar, 1 tablespoon of baking soda that I've sifted, and 1½ cups of dark chocolate, which we will use later to melt and temper. You'll also need a 9x9 pan. This is the closest I have. It's an 8x8. I think it'll be fine. You're also gonna need a saucepan with tall sides. So in a small bowl where we have our 1 tablespoon of cold water, we are gonna sprinkle our gelatin. And we're going to wait for it to bloom. Don't entirely know what that means, but I hope we'll see. It doesn't say to stir it, mix it. We're just gonna wait for it to bloom. Much like the much awaited blossoms we wait for in spring, we're going to wait for our gelatin to bloom. While we wait for this to bloom, we are gonna take our sugar, our 1/2 cup of water, and our 1/2 cup of corn syrup, and our tall-sided saucepan, and go over to the stove. I'll see you over there. Alright, so we are over at the stove. Something I forgot to mention, but is super important, so please take a minute to go grab this if you have one. You need a candy thermometer. I was reading the comments on this recipe. Luckily I had a candy thermometer, but they recommend it. They say it's imperative to making this and making it come out correctly. So please, if you don't have a candy thermometer before you go and make this, go get one. You're gonna need it. So we're going to add in the sugar, that 1/2 cup of water, and that 1/2 cup of the light corn syrup. So I'm just gonna incorporate it real quick. Basically what's gonna happen is you want all the sugar to dissolve. You wanna constantly stir, sugar to dissolve, and you want it to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, you're gonna clip this bad boy on there. But we'll get there when we get there. Ooh, make sure you're scraping the bottom corners of the pan really well, because I can hear and feel the sugar granules in there. And they do warn for this recipe, so I hope the sides on this are high enough that once we put like the gelatin in, the baking soda in, the sugar's gonna expand like a lot. So hopefully these sides are high enough. Alright, sounds like it's starting to boil. You can see as I'm moving it, there's like bubbles that follow my trail. There still feels like there's sugar in there. It's not dissolved. But we're gonna go ahead and trust this process. Yep, it's boiling. So what we're gonna do from here is set the candy thermometer on it, clip it on there so it stays. And we want this to reach a temperature. I don't want it to touch the bottom, I don't think. Maybe I do. We want this to reach a temperature of 310 degrees. Once it reaches 310 degrees, actually let me put this where I can actually see it without it giving me trouble. I never use a candy thermometer, so I don't know how quickly this will go. Once that happens, everything kind of happens really fast. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab our baking soda, our gelatin, and our pan. And you don't want to disturb this. You don't want to stir it, nothing. Just leave it be. We're at 225, almost 230. I'm going to turn the heat off. We are at 310, and I'm going to remove it from the heat. You are going to let this sit undisturbed for 2 minutes. Don't touch it. I'll see you in 2 minutes. Okay, so it has been about 1.5 minutes. So I'm going to turn this back on. What we're going to do is add the gelatin, the baking soda. You're going to whisk it quick. It's going to like rise a whole bunch. It's going to expand a whole bunch. And then we're going to pour it in the pan. I'll kind of show you everything that's going on with that. But just so you know, you do need to have your gelatin, your baking soda, and a whisk at the ready. So get those while we've got our last 30 seconds or so here. I'm also going to remove our, oh, it's not even too hot, candy thermometer. All right, it's been the 2 minutes. Can you see it? Yes, you can. We're gonna add the gelatin and you're gonna whisk that. This is normal, this is normal. Then you're gonna sprinkle the baking soda over top again. It's gonna rise up. You raise me up. And you're gonna whisk vigorously. Ooh, buddy, that looks cool. You see that? Look what happened to it. That's so neat. Okay, now you're gonna return it to that medium heat again, and you're gonna whisk vigorously for 30 seconds. All right, remove from the heat, pour in the pan quickly. Don't spread it, just pour it. They said it should come out like a big old blob, and that's what you want. It'll settle itself. I tried to make it so when I did this you could see it, so I'm hoping that that worked and that you can. I don't want to bring it too close because I don't want the parchment paper to catch on fire. That would be bad. Okay, I'm gonna get all this candy off the whisk. I am gonna disturb it for a minute just to get the parchment paper out of it. And I believe this is a toffee right here. I see why having the bigger pan is probably better. Ours is gonna be a little thicker than normal, but that's okay. I didn't have a 9x9 pan. We deal with it how we gotta deal with it. From here, we are going to let this sit undisturbed, don't touch it, for at least 2 hours or overnight, whatever. Those are the two measurements, 2 hours or overnight. And we just basically want it to cool. So we're gonna set this to the side, let it cool, and I'll see you in about 2-3 hours. Bye. All right, it has been 2 hours. We have, can you hear? Come in. That is some hard candy. I did break off a chunk of it. It's very good. Like, look at that. That's not going anywhere. So for the next part, and to finish it up, you're going to need your 1.5 cups of dark chocolate. You're going to need a bowl and a pan, or a double boiler if you have it. I don't have one, so I just use a pan and then a bowl over top of it to melt that chocolate. But this is going to be the fun part and the loud part. We've got to break this into pieces. So what Jennifer recommends doing is scoring it at 1-inch intervals. It's sticky. Oh my god, look at that. It's like, look at that, it already cracked. And then just breaking it at those score marks. I don't know if we're going to be able to do that. Nah, I'm just going to break it. So go ahead, you can either score it and break it and make it into squares. Or you can have some more fun with it and just kind of smash it up. So I put parchment paper down because it is a messy process, and I'm just gonna smash it and have fun with it. So here we go. Oh, it actually, once you break it, it breaks pretty easily. So the pieces I'm keeping, I'm gonna put on a plate. So that way, I know that those are done. And you can make these into like whatever sizes you want. Jennifer says to do them in like 1-inch squares if you're doing squares. I'm just doing a whole bunch of different sizes. And then actually somebody in the comments of this said to take all these little pieces that you're not doing anything with and like make a bark out of them if you have leftover chocolate. Put them all in the chocolate and then I'll show you, we're gonna do it. So, and I do have more chocolate if we don't have enough, where I can temper some more. clean up the floor because there's sponge candy everywhere and it's sticky. And then I'm gonna meet you over at the stove to temper our chocolate. We'll see you there. All right, so we have our double boiler set up. You're gonna take your 1.5 cups of chocolate, and we're gonna get this to heat. We're gonna get the water underneath to boil, and then just keep stirring until this becomes chocolate for dipping. And then we're gonna take our sponge candy, dip it in, and I'm gonna fish it out with this guy so we can get as much of that chocolate off of it as possible while keeping the entire candy coated. Also grabbed a little plate, I don't know if you can see it, it's off to the side here, to put our sponge candy on. Just keep your eye on this because this chocolate can go from not melted at all to melting and burnt very quickly. So I've got it on like a medium high right now, and once it starts to boil, I'll probably turn it down to like a medium low. And yeah, then we've just got a whole bunch of candy to dip. It should be good. I am very excited. All right, we're starting to melt here. So at this point, once you start to melt, you want to not leave your chocolate unattended, basically. Turn that down. The water underneath is boiling. I'd already turned it down a little bit, but as you can see, it's escaping the sides there. So I turned it down a little more. I actually don't ever really use a double boiler. I typically use the microwave to melt my chocolates. So a little interesting here. Just a little difference. And I'm also grabbing a smaller plate because you want to put these in the refrigerator to let the chocolate set. So what I'm going to do is make a couple and put them in the refrigerator right away. So that way by the time we're done with all the rest of them, we can try them and they'll have been sitting long enough to be the right texture, the right consistency, and look like a sponge candy. Hurt my hand. There we go. If you need to, grab an oven mitt. The bowl's pretty hot. All right, we're smooth now though, so we're gonna go ahead and dunk our first sponge candy in there. Try and get off some of that extra chocolat. And then I'm gonna, come on, set that to the side. Okay, next piece. Now we just have to do this 5 bajillion times. And as always on this show, we're not going for perfection. There's literally, we just broke this up into random little pieces, so this is a pretty much this is not a recipe for a perfectionist. Not the way we've done it anyway, which is fine by me. Gives yourself some leeway to be kind to yourself. I know I'm not always very kind to myself, so this recipe will All right, I'm gonna leave this temporarily. I'm gonna put these 4 that I've done in the fridge. All right, now we can finish the rest. And by the time we're done with all of these, because there's a big old mountain of them, we will have, are those chocolates in, oh my God. Those chocolates in there will have had enough time to solidify. Didn't realize it was so chocolatey right there. It also doesn't give instruction on like how to do this, so I'm just kind of making it up myself. Just says to dunk them. So we're dunking them. I'm gonna, smells like it's burning. I'm gonna stir it real quick to make sure. Always remember to stir it every once in a while. You don't want the chocolate to start burning. You know what? Let's just throw a bunch of these in here. I mean, right? All we gotta do is cover them. Oh, you know what might smell like it's burning is the toffee itself heating up. I don't know. The chocolate isn't burning though, so we're good on that front. Beautiful. I don't know if this is enough chocolate to even cover all of the ones that we have. So we're basically just gonna go until we can't go no more, one way or the other. I forgot there's still chocolates in here. There's still sponge candy in here. I was about to put more in, but there's already a bunch in here. Okay. We're just gonna keep on trucking. Okay, so this was being hard to remove from the plate, but here it is, our sponge candy in all its glory. Will it focus? Yes. So let's give it a try as a little nugget. Oh, I've never had sponge candy before. It's like, can you hear it crunching? I want chocolate all over. I probably didn't let it set long enough because I wanted to give it a try, but it was really good. The middle is like light and airy with a little chewiness to it, and the outside's the dark chocolate, which lends itself well to the flavor of the toffee. So thank you again to Jennifer Morrissey at homeinthefingerlakes.com, who came in clutch with this recipe for sponge candy, the buffalo version. So yeah, down below we will have a link to Le Petit Poutine, the poutine truck and poutinerie restaurant. We'll have a link to Cafe Charret for these cute earrings. We'll have a link to our merchandise, our website, and of course a link to our Patreon. If you're not a patron yet, go ahead and click that link. Check out our different tiers. If any of them work for you, please sign up. The funding all helps both this mini-series on YouTube as well as our overarching project, Crossing Borders, for when we're out on the road, traveling and filming. If you can't monetarily swing that this month or any month, totally understand that. Been there, currently there sometimes right now, so I get it. You can always like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit that notification bell so you know next time we're doing an episode. And yeah, that'll do it. So we'll just see you in the next one. Bye guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care of yourselves, be good to each other, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.